If you are a young person, you open up your phone and all you see is dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby,
right.
Diddy, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby. Like, that's basically your whole thing.
Wow. Hey, that's crazy. Once again, if he was in a room full of civilized, intellectual, like-minded people in that room, I guarantee you he would not have said anything stupid like that. I guarantee it. I've been watching Van Jones long enough. But the only reason he says something stupid like that is because of the people around him. He's trying to, I gotta make these jokes to fit in, right? Man, Van Jones is a interesting guy, okay? Once again, I don't watch Van Jones when I was a kid, okay? Like, not like a baby kid, but like, my mid-teens. Because for some reason, I was that weird. Okay, I don't want to say weird, but I was that kid, that young man that wasn't watching football like that, wasn't watching basketball, but I was watching a lot of CNN and, believe it or not, a lot of Fox News. I was just, once again, I wasn't like super politically inclined. I wasn't really putting the pieces together, but I was interested on what was going on, like just out of curiosity. I wasn't really into it, but I would see Van Jones a lot. I would see people like Chris Cuomo. I would see, it felt like a lot of the Fox News people were all the same. I don't know. But like, I would remember seeing Don Lemon, when he was younger, had the shortcut and everything. Like, I remember these people. Even people like Bill Maher. I remember watching his programs, okay? So I grew up with these people. But now, seeing a Van Jones today, it's embarrassing because you can't be lukewarm today. You can't be that, playing the fence or riding the fence because you don't want to anger people. So, you try to take this safe approach of, kind of not attacking or not being honest or not holding people accountable because, they're going to be mad at you. And I see Van Jones trying too hard to be that guy. And one of the repercussions of trying too hard to appease people on 20 different sides in politics, you're going to end up saying something stupid that's going to get you into some trouble. And once again, if you're like full on MAGA, you can say all the stupid things, racist things, bigoted things, and get, awards, get awarded for that from Republicans. But someone like Van Jones is a Democrat. I believe he's a liberal. I don't believe not in one day that he's some sort of leftist. Don't believe it. But once again, even with him being a liberal, people have standards. People have integrity. And if you're representing being a Democrat, you have to watch what you say. Not everything is he. Not everything is a joke. It's real things, real lives out there facing these consequences. And Van Jones knows that. But once again, he's on Bill Maher. And when you're on Bill Maher trying to kiss his ass, you're going to say some stupid things. That's simple. So let's go ahead and break this down into two separate videos because he said a lot of stupid things, but these two things right here really stand out to me.
Top story. Most voters say you.
And I just remembered, hold on. Hey, the good old blockers, once again, this is for copyright purposes. I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube, so therefore, we protect ourselves with these black bars. Once again, if you squint really hard and hold the phone back like 2 feet from your face, you won't even see that it's there, okay? So let's go ahead and listen to this dumbness.
U.S. can't repair severe divisions. And they went into the fact that 5 years ago, even during the pandemic and during the George Floyd protests, even then people thought, well, we are going to get through this. And now they seem to be on the page of, it's not going to happen.
You know, Bill,
what do we do? Did you see the story?
Yeah, and I think what's new about this moment, one of my teachers and friends, Dov Seidman, likes to say this, we aren't divided, we are being divided.
That's right.
By companies for profit, okay? And we have our divisions.
Now, once again, I don't want to be that, hold on.
It is now
playing the music. Once again, I don't want to be that person to nitpick on what people say, but he's wrong. Already starting out the gate, he's wrong. Okay? Companies, yes, they're dividing us, but that's not the main players here. No, don't shift the blame on companies. Go to the root cause of the situation. But okay, let's hear what this guy got to say. We're not here for him. We're not after this guy's neck. We're here for Van Jones. So once again, after this guy's done talking, let's hear what Mr. Van Jones got to enlighten us with.
What is new in my life is it is now a giant industry to make people stupid and angry. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what happens.
Talking about algorithms.
Right, exactly. And Facebook and all the things that these people do. And we'd be, you know, the way I look at the world right now, we're going through a lot of social change. We're going through a lot of technological change. The pot would be boiling. But then along came Mark Zuckerberg and he turned the heat up on the pot. And then along came Trump and he took the lid off the pot. And he made it permissible, popular, and profitable to say and do things to and about each other we never did before. And all three of those things need to be addressed.
The crazy thing for me is when you talk to people, when you ask people to put the phone down for a second, and you actually talk to people, people are not as divided. But the thing is, at some point, you, on your phone, you ordered a yoga mat or something. Your algorithm figured out you're a liberal. Then your neighbor looked up a truck. You're conservative. And from that day forward, you got different information every day, and nobody sent a notice. And so now you literally think your neighbor is insane because how could they possibly think this stuff? But if you put your phone next to their phone, you're in different algorithmic universes, and that is brand new and very dangerous.
Okay, first off, I understand. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and play stupid here. I understand what he's trying to say. I get it, and that alone can be a conversation. Trust me, I've been on YouTube 3 years, on Twitch, maybe 2 months. I understand playing the algorithm. You got to play along with it in order to get along with it. I get it. I understand it. It's a nasty thing. Sometimes I understand. Making these thumbnails, I feel icky sometimes, okay? But that is not the root cause of the issue. People are not reading or listening to information and being radicalized, which I get that it can happen. But where are they getting their information from? They're not just pulling it out the blue, out of nowhere. No, once again, for the past 10 years even, our president and the Republican Party and the commentators and the people that go on these news stations that represent this party, these people are the root cause of it. And it's their propaganda, it's their rhetoric that they're pushing that's making people divided. And the best example is scapegoating trans people, scapegoating immigrants, scapegoating the inner city people, which is black and brown people, scapegoating these people for the failures of everybody else. That is the problem. Because I guarantee you, if you're making six figures, if you're making good money, you live in a good neighborhood, you work a job that you enjoy, you're out there visiting your summer vacation house, and then during the wintertime you're visiting your winter vacation. Like, you're not worried about all this stupid stuff. No, you don't give a damn about politics like that. No, you don't care. It's the people that are struggling, that don't know why they're still living paycheck to paycheck, and they're doing worse than their parents, doing worse than their grandparents, and don't see no valuable future ahead of them. So what happens? They hear people like Trump talking. Oh, it's the immigrants. Oh, it's the trans people. Oh, it's not you. You're not the problem. It's black folks. They're sucking up all the resources. That is the issue. But once again, Van Jones and that other guy sitting here trying to blame Mark Zuckerberg, which once again is his own conversation. But we can get rid of Facebook today and still be in the same situation. It'll just be another social media platform to take its place. So once again, I understand what they're saying, but that's not the conversation we need to be having. That's not what's dividing people. It's our government. It's these disingenuous politicians. But hey, okay, enough. Okay, I get it. Let's go to the next segment, or not next segment, but next video where Van Jones really got in trouble.
CNN host Van Jones is apologizing for comments he recently made on Real Time with Bill Maher. Now, Jones sparked outrage when he blamed Iran and Qatar for running a disinformation campaign to divide Americans over the war in Gaza. Let's watch.
Iran and Qatar have come up with a disinformation campaign that they are running through TikTok and Instagram that is massive. If you are a young person, you open up your phone and all you see is dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby,
Right.
Diddy, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby. That's basically your whole feed.
Wow. Hey, that's crazy. Once again, if he was in a room full of civilized, intellectual, like-minded people in that room, I guarantee you he would not have said anything stupid like that. I guarantee it. I've been watching Van Jones long enough. But the only reason he says something stupid like that is because of the people around him. He's trying to, I got to make these jokes to fit in, right? No. See, that's that MAGA brain, that MAGA virus. You be around people like Bill Maher too much, you start saying stupid things. Start using Palestinian dead kids as a punchline. That's crazy to me. Once again, that's what happens when you're lukewarm, when you're too busy trying to ride the fence. Like, you're willing to throw away your integrity just for a joke. That's simple. But hey, that's where we're at today.
Bashed over the weekend for those comments, and on Sunday he issued a formal apology. Writing an X quote, "I made a comment on Real Time with Bill Maher about the war in Gaza that was insensitive and hurtful. I apologize. Suffering of the people of Gaza, especially the children, is not a punchline. I'm deeply sorry it came across that way. What's happening to children in Gaza is heartbreaking." He goes on, "As a father, I can't begin to imagine the pain their parents are enduring, unable to protect their kids from unimaginable harm. I'm praying and working for an immediate end to this war and for peace and for safety for every family caught in its path. I'm truly sorry for the pain my words caused to people who are already suffering more than anyone should."
Many online accuse Jones of being insensitive and misrepresenting the issue. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen was especially critical of his comments. He says on X, quote, "I'm glad Van Jones apologized for his sick joke about dead kids in Gaza. But the problem goes deeper. He spread Netanyahu propaganda that the mass killings of civilians in Gaza, including 20,000 plus kids, is Iranian news, fake news. It's not the students and young people who are fooled, it's Van Jones."
Now, once again, Phantom, you said in the comments right now, like, you understand what he's saying, and I do too. Once again, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't understand beyond the weird joke what he was trying to imply. But even what he was trying to imply, which the two hosts on this show are about to get into, that's even more problematic. Once again, rewind this back, to hear what he said, but to sit here and pretend as if all the photos, all the data, all the news, all the information is Middle East propaganda, Qatar propaganda. That's weird. Like, where have you been in the past 2 years? Well, honestly, this goes beyond October 7th, but just for people's short-term memory's sake, where have you been? But hey, once again.
Yeah, and that's the interesting point here. So, look, Van Jones is a...
You say it feels like your audio level, mic is kind of low. If you're watching on a portrait mode, unfortunately, the volume is going to be low until I figure out how to fix it. But just go ahead, turn the volume all the way up, and you'll hear me nice and clear.
A thoughtful guy, generally. I don't want to go too easy on him, especially when this is a show today where we very much bashed a person who
joked about violence.
Yeah, didn't even joke.
Yeah,
fantasized about violence against kids. I don't think this is what Van Jones meant. He was right to apologize for it. I don't think he was trying to make light of the suffering of the people, because he's spoken about it before and he seems motivated by it. So I accept that on its face. I think it is wrong usually to assume that this is all the work of disinformation campaigns on social media. The only reason people care about this is because some foreign nation is active on social media and is trying to distort the picture of things. That sounds like Russia stuff to me, when they're like, oh, everything on social media in support of Trump is all Russian propaganda. Find out that was like a fraction of the content was actually originating in Russia. Mostly it was sincere. I would guess that that's the case with this stuff too. I also see a lot of violent content about the suffering of the Palestinian people. I don't think it's being inauthentically sent my way by foreign actors. I think it's because there is footage of it and it's terrible and people are concerned, and that's why it's going viral. I think it's almost always wrong to assume some kind of puppet master type, oh, I'm being shown this by some bad actor. No, it's going viral because people care about it. We don't usually haven't in the past had this graphic, granular detail, videos, images of people dying in war before, because social media didn't exist, during the Vietnam War, the Korean War, World War II.
Now, once again, if this pencil neck dummy understands that the information out there, the pictures, the data is not being generated purposely to be used as propaganda, why can't Van Jones? Once again, the joke was tasteless and it was dumb to say. But even in his grand scheme of the conversation he was trying to relay, even proves a bigger problem in his thinking, which is weird. How and why would all this information be fake? I'm just saying.
We see it now, and it's horrifying, and it motivates people. I don't think it's because of Iran. I think it's sincere. It's real.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't see what you see, but you see what you're getting fed.
It's exactly what they said about Trump support, that it was all Russia.
Right, but that
was made up.
So and I think, look, foreign actors have weaponized social media and can weaponize social media, but I don't think that's the instance. We see so many images of what's happening. I mean, the UN has referred to this as a genocide. Marjorie Taylor Greene, to bring up a MAGA supporter, has referred to this as a genocide. These are not just images that somebody is pushing and that the American public is so dumb that they can't translucently see through and understand that this is some fake made up images. Like, this is happening so often, and the number of children and people that have been killed there is so, off the rails.
Van Jones has had such an interesting ideological development.
Well, and that's why a lot of people are critical of him, because it's kind of like you sway. Well, he just sway. It's like he sways with however the wind goes, and it's not that you can't.
He sways however the wind goes. Over here, we call that a grifter. Simple as that. That is an opportunist, to say the least. So once again, she said it in the most nicest way to say it. But is Van Jones a grifter? You can argue that. Is he an opportunist? I could say so lightly, but once again, that still doesn't justify the amount of stupidity that came out of his mouth.
Can't
This
change
is a
your
very
perspective.
anti-left thing to say.
Right, you're more than welcome to change your perspective, but I think
Sure.
there's an overall view of how Western media views Arab lives. Because if we had said this about anyone else, an American person, a child, you saw how your radar this morning was about the tone of which we use of a child being heard. If we had said this about any Jewish American, if we had said this about an Israeli person, if we had said this about an American citizen, then I think that people, even more people would have came at him, and he would have been called for him to be fired and lose his job. And because we said it about somebody who is othered in our society, as sometimes looking at them as the bad guy, maybe since 9/11, then we are looking at the whole Palestinian people and not humanizing them. And that's why we can see 20,000 people plus be killed, and people still have, some people have no reaction, some people have turned it off, and some people can say, oh, like Greta Thunberg, don't do that, whatever have you. It's like, the point is that people are there starving, dying, you're seeing children die, and it's a real issue. And wherever you fall on the issue, the human part is that if you see a child suffering like that, an innocent child, that should cause a reaction for you, not to be put in a punchline with Diddy.
Well,
right?
Once again, the weirdest mix up ever. You got Diddy and then Palestinian kids. Okay. I didn't know Van Jones was a comedian. And even if he was a comedian, not a funny joke. And it's crazy because, once again, if you take the time to educate yourself and be aware of the situation, you could understand. And you wouldn't say stupid things like that.
It has caused a reaction. There is moral outrage
for sure.
What is happening? There's a desire of the American people to have either peace in the region, or if we can't get peace in the region, to not be involved, to not have the weapons that they purchase from us because we give them money used in this conflict. So the images have had an impact that I would say is good, because I don't really want it to continue either. So again, what's the nefarious part of it?
Well, I just think that if that joke was made about anyone else, even like you said, you're calling for this Congress person to not, this person who's running for office to not continue running. We call for people who said lesser things to lose their jobs.
Right. Well,
I don't think that people should be fired. But
about specific kids dying. Van Jones was saying
let Van Jones have switched the joke up to be like, oh, dead Israeli, Diddy, dead Israeli. Like, I guarantee you, he would not be working tomorrow or today. Whenever this aired, he would not be working the next day. Guarantee it. But no, when you're making jokes about Palestinian people, hey, get a couple of hee-hees, a couple of knee slappers, knee slappers, and then just a slap on the wrist because Democrats don't have any spine to really put people in check like they need to. No, of course not.
Was maybe again, it was in service of a point that is not a wrong, that is, well, I do think the point is wrong, but he was not saying it from the perspective of someone who likes to see the suffering of the kids. He was saying that we see so much of it, you could almost become desensitized to it.
And my point is that I think that Van Jones went on there with his notepad in front of him and had some lines that he planned on saying, and that was his punchline that he planned on saying, and he thought about it all the night before, or maybe as he walked in or took the ride that he got to the studio, and that was going to be the good one that had made him go viral, and now you got exactly what you wanted. You went viral for the wrong reason. It's never a reason to mock or joke about children dying. And so I think that was one of those times where when you're trying to be friends with everybody on every side of the aisle always, it just smacked him back in the face, because that's not something that the average people, he said he's a father. You can see that people over there who are actually suffering would not take kindly, just like you wouldn't if it was somebody talking about your kids or an American, wouldn't take kindly also. I mean,
once again, can I be honest with you? I didn't see this entire video. I probably seen like maybe 4 or 5 minutes of it. I was like, okay, I'm going to use this as, part of my segment. And I curated my notes without even hearing what she just said, and then she mimicked exactly what I said. Once again, I know I'm not crazy. I know sometimes I may seem like I am. I may say some crazy things, but I tell you, 9 times out of 10, I'm on point. And that 1% chance that I'm not, I'm probably still right. Okay? Once again, I know I'm not the only person to see Van Jones be like, I just can't put my finger on it. But now the more I hear him talk, the more I hear him kind of move within this political atmosphere that we're in right now, it's like, man, you starting to feel like a grifter. You starting to smell like an opportunist. I'm sorry, like it's just something. And he's not like that loving type of, everybody's my brother, everybody's my sister, even some of the most hateful people out there, like a Cornel West. Cornel West, that's authentically him. That's him in the genuinest way possible. That's Dr. Cornel West. Van Jones is not that. He's not like, hey, can I just unite everybody, bring everybody together? No, it's just something weird about him. And I'm glad I'm not the only person that sees it.
Just like you wouldn't if it was somebody talking about your kids or an American. Wouldn't take kindly also. I mean, we talk about violence often, most recently after the death of Charlie Kirk, and the fact that his children were there. This is all something that I have said directly on this show. If you can't empathize with the fact that he has children that saw that, and something's wrong with you. And so that's my stance. And so when you are sitting on a stage and have the platform that Van Jones does, and he can't empathize with the fact that there are children who have parents or are missing parents, are going to be orphaned for the rest of their lives, and he finds it appropriate to try to make a joke in line with the Diddy trial in order so he can go viral and have a one-liner, to me that's wildly out of touch and inappropriate and dehumanizing Arab lives. And I'm just trying to figure out why that's so simple for him to do.
Hey, once again, when you're trying to rub elbows with Republicans, trying to rub elbows with MAGA, I don't know if that's how you really rub elbows. I've never done that. That'd probably be a little suspicious. You just rubbing people's elbows with your elbow. Kind of weird. But once again, that's what happens when you're trying to fit in with that crowd. You're prone to try to say the most craziest, dumbest, tasteless things out there. And I guarantee you that half of the country is laughing. Big old hee-hees, big old ha-has. But to people with integrity and standards and a moral compass, no, not funny. And even the grand scheme of your conversation was just as dumb. That's simple. So, yeah, Mr. Van Jones, we watching you, bro. We watching.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Fuck with me, you